So you're on the Anthony Rogers show right now, and I just want to know, what's it like taking people's jobs? You feel good about yourself? Huh? You feel good? Oh, you're just gonna walk away? Oh, okay. Okay, bet, dude. Okay, bet. See ya. Oh, you wanna fight? Oh, okay. You wanna fucking go? You wanna fucking go, dude? Where is he going? Like, what is happening right now? Oh, now you wanna? Oh, okay, never mind.
How's it going? This is Sean from Smile Empty Soul, and you are watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
What's up, good people? This is Jesse Peace from Kill Switch Engage, and you're watching The Anthony Rogers Show. Let's get it.
Hey, this is Ebony Mystique, and you're watching The Anthony Rogers Show. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? It's Funny Man from Hollywood Undead, and we're watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey everybody, my name's Art. I'm Freddie. We're Everclear, and we're watching The Anthony Rogers Show right now.
Hey everybody, I'm Jared from your favorite band, Bowling for Soup. You're watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hi, my name is Emma Rose, and you're watching Anthony Rogers Show.
Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm Jake.
What's up? I'm JB. We're August Burns Red, and you're watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hi, I'm Addis Fichet, and you're watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
Sorry, I'm Kevin. I'm Peter. We're Candlebox, and you're watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hi, I'm Sheena Ryder, and you're watching The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey, thanks for watching. Today's sponsor is the Original Joint Buddy. That's OJB420.com. Link in the description. It helps you roll the perfect joint. I already can roll joints, but what's good for me anyway, for a guy that can already roll joints, is good. I use it for extract, hash, dabs, put it in there and holds it open and lets you roll the perfect infused joint. My wife uses it as a daily roller, and if you have no idea how to roll a joint, it's used for that too. So you can have people that have no idea how to roll a joint, people that are okay rolling joints, and people that are good at it and just want to put in some extracts and dabs and hash and stuff in there. So link in the description. Check it out. That is www.ojb420.com. Check it out.
Hey, it's your favorite comedian again. You thought you got rid of me. My name is Anthony Rogers. I'm here to tell you to buy the Rowell All-in-One paper set. It's basically a Swiss Army knife for rolling. You have your filters here. You have your slim papers here. You have your grinder right here. Just rub the nugs on that. You have a little pocket, and then you have a funnel to dump it all out. So get your all-in-one papers from Rowell. Link in the description. Get it now. Up your game.
Hi, Anthony. I'm doing great so far. And the weather all across the United States of America got really hot weather in central United States right now. Then it gets a rain heading towards the northeastern United States this Friday. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain northeastern United States this Friday, like New England, like New York and Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and all those places. Lots of rain there in eastern United States right now. And it's going to bring some lots of hot weather in central states and things like this. Next week, warm air, cold air, we fighting each other. Next Friday's going to bring dangerous heat all across eastern United States. Late next week possible. It's not an official forecast yet. It's not an official forecast yet. Then it got them. And in places like in and the weather all across eastern United States of America. And weather there. And the weather in eastern United States of America. Lots of rain going on in Texas and thunderstorms in the forecast. So is Kansas, Oklahoma. This week coming, it's going to bring a lot of rain in eastern United States. They got cool air heading towards North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina as well. in Idaho, and all those lots of rain going on in Manitoba as well. And the weather all across Winnipeg and those places. Gonna get some lots of rain in Manitoba, parts of Saskatchewan. It's gonna got some rain and snow up in the mountains, like rain, like Seattle and like Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and all those places. This that's next week's forecast. It's gonna rain, lots of rain in northwestern United States, and the weather all across and places in next Friday possible. It's gonna bring severe thunderstorms to Wisconsin possible. That's a long ways off yet. And the weather all across. Next Tuesday, possible it's going to bring lots of rain and thunderstorms all across North Dakota, South Dakota, and Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and eastern Montana, and all those places. It's going to bring lots of thunderstorms there. Then you got some dry air in California right now. It's really hot in California and Nevada right now. And then it's going to develop chance of showers on this Monday coming up in Arizona, possible. It's going to bring lots of rain and later on this week in eastern United States, like Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Carolinas on Friday, all the way down to Florida, including Miami, Florida, including Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, and Montreal, Quebec, and Ottawa, and Cornwall, Ontario, Kingston, Ontario, those places. There's rain, lots of rain and forecasts in southern Ontario, like Kingston, Ontario, Cornwall, Ontario, and all those places. Lots of rain and forecasts in eastern Ontario, like Cornwall, Brockville, Kanakwa, and all those places. Things are going great in Sydney, Nova Scotia. And I'm showing you Sydney. Nancy, I'm showing you Sydney. That's Sydney, Nova Scotia, Canada right now, Anthony. And the weather all across Japan and lots of rain in China, southern China right now. India is almost in the monsoon season. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain in India in June, July, and August, and September. That's the monsoon season over there. Their summer will be over next month. It'll be in the monsoon season. India has their summer before me. Once their summer ends, my summer starts. And things are going great so far. And see how you doing. Things are great so far. And things are going great so far. And see how you doing, Anthony, Nikki, and all those places.
Whoa, you heard it here first.
Sup, guys?
So how's St. Louis doing, Frank? You said? What's the weather?
And then it got next week. Then it got some lots of rain and thunderstorms and forecast in Pacific Northwest, like interior northwestern United States, like Idaho, North Dakotas, and all those places.
Nice.
We look like the Brady Bunch right now, like with the screen, like.
Love that for us.
Well, they're in Southern California on the second shelf of the Brady Bunch. What's Southern California look like this week?
Really, really hot in Southern California right now. It's really hot there right now.
It was pretty hot today.
And it got a little bit of cooler air hitting for California possible next Wednesday.
Cool.
You're a hero, Frank. You're always on point with the weather, and I appreciate that, brother.
And did you hear of this, Anthony? I'm showing you Charlotte Street in Sydney.
Nice, dude. It's like a ghost town.
No one is ever there. I'm scared.
And did you hear about this? I was working on comedy videos, and I was working I was doing tornado sirens and things like this on a few of my comedy videos. Like big Sahara dust is going to hit Venezuela this week. This Friday coming, it's going to bring a lot of dry dust air come all the way from northwest coast of Africa in the Sahara Desert. It's going to drive all the way from the Sahara Desert to the westward to the Atlantic Ocean. Then it's going to work its way to Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Honduras, and El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, and southeastern United States, because dry dusty air is going to come all the way from Sahara Desert. That dry dusty air is going to travel a long way, all the way from northwestern Africa and Sahara Desert. It's going to all dry dusty air is going to go all across the Atlantic Ocean westward direction. That's easterly. It's going to bring all the dry dusty airs westward, all the way to Venezuela, Colombia, South America, Panama, Honduras, El Salvador, Nigeria, and Guatemala, and Cancun, Mexico, and Houston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Austin, Texas, Corpus Christi, Texas, Brownsville, Texas, and surrounding areas. Is going to bring a lot of dry dust air. That's going to cause sky to turn different color during sunset in southern United States and Mexico, because the dry dust air is coming all the way from Sahara Desert, Africa.
Damn.
It's going to drive all the dry dusty air coming all the way from Sahara Desert in Africa. It's going to drive all the dusty, dry air. It's going to bring. Because the wind's going to be really, really, really strong. Sahara Desert has entered a stormy season, like Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Sudan, Ethiopia, including northern Chad, northern Mali, and all those Sahara deserts and Saudi Arabia. They have entered the stormy seasons to drive all the dry dust air all the way to Venezuela and southern United States, including Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nigeria, Honduras, and Panama.
Dry, dusty hair in the dry, dusty air.
It's like a Saharan dust. It's coming all the way from northwestern Africa. It's going to travel westward to the Atlantic Ocean. That's going to drive all the dry dust air all the way to Texas and Mexico and Venezuela and all those countries, including Caracas, Venezuela.
Sounds dusty. Dry.
And dry dusty air in all those countries. Because it's bringing really stormy weather up in Sahara Desert, Africa. That's going to drive all the dry dusty air all the way from Sahara Desert on all the way to South America and Mexico and Houston, Texas.
Whoa, dude. It's crazy.
Bryan, planet Earth, you know your weather now.
Enjoy the dry, dusty stare in the dry, dusty air.
And did you hear about this? New Zealand's days are getting shorter. Their shortest day of the year in Invercargill, New Zealand's on Friday, June 20th, 2025. New Zealand has their shortest day of the year.
Nice.
Antarctica is 24-hour darkness right now in McMurdo Station. Edmonton Scott South Pole Station, Antarctica. And South Pole is 24-hour darkness right now. Up in Klukatuk, Nunavut, and the Grace Fjord, Nunavut, and Resolute Bay, and all those places. It's 24-hour daylight north of the Arctic Circle. Like Nome, Alaska, Barrow, Alaska, it's 24-hour daylight up there.
Cool.
Bryan, that was thorough.
That was thorough. Sorry.
Well, Frank,
24-hour daylight up in the North Pole right now. It's 24-hour darkness in the South Pole as for right now.
Were you ever at a Diddy party, Frank?
What?
We're covering Diddy's. We're covering the Diddy parties and his trial and stuff. What are your thoughts on all that?
That means that he doesn't know better and things like this. He was a musician.
He doesn't know better?
And Diddy, he does his own thing.
Frank, I love you, man. That's the best answer. That's the best answer I've ever heard on the Diddy coverage.
He does his own thing altogether.
He definitely does his own
differ
thing.
on that, but you know.
And did you hear about this?
You think he killed Tupac?
I heard leaves are going to change different colors up and around Klukatuk, Nunavut, and Inuvik, Northwest Territories, and Tatoya, Northwest Territories, and Fort McPherson, Northwest Territories, and Dawson, Yukon Territory, in second half of August. Fall begins up there. Their fall starts before my fall.
Bam.
Cool.
That means leaves change colors up around Inuvik, Northwest Territories, in second half of August every year.
Every fucking year. That's crazy, dude.
Well,
If you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My ex formerly Twitter is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Threads is at Frankie MacD1994. My Instagram is Frankie MacD1994. My TikTok is FrankDon1994. My Clapper is FrankDon1994. My Twitch is FrankDon1994. My Snapchat is Frankie MECD1. My YouTube channel is Stocks Wolves, and my LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. Best of luck to you. I'm Frank Don. You listen to Anthony Rogers Show every Tuesday nights.
I appreciate you, Frank. Thanks for the weather report.
Dude.
Thanks for playing.
My fans are saying hi to me.
Bam. Got some fans.
He's got like 20 different social media. What's a clapper? I've never even heard of some of the like social media.
He's next level. He's next level. I like this. I like this Diddy coverage. He does his own thing. I was like, oh fuck. When he said, I'm like, oh man. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be on some reels. Okay. Well, I don't think we introduced properly in this episode. My name is Anthony Rogers. We have Nikki Knightley, your favorite co-host. We have Bryan from Demon Erasers, who's been on here about 20 times at this point, one of my favorite guests. And then we have Couch Guy, who's here for comedic relief. And I think we're breaking the third wall by bringing him up, but we still are. And pleasure. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the? Where we're going to start on this? What are you guys' thoughts on the whole Diddy trial / situation?
Man. I've been doing a lot of research, actually. I was watching a bunch of videos today. I mean, I kind of had a general idea of what was going on, but I just wanted a little bit more in-depth detail on like who was involved and like what has actually been, because there's a lot of videos of things that like are just more like hearsay and speculation, but I wanted to know exactly what was being said in court. And I mean, this guy was a fucking tyrant, dude. I mean, it reminds me a lot of who was the other rapper or like R&B artist who was like R. Kelly? It kind of reminded me a little bit of R. Kelly, whereas like this guy was just a straight up predator. Like he, Cassie, who he dated for a while, was like, she became famous at 19, which I didn't realize how young she was, but he was actually like attached to her record label and was like in charge of her finances for a really long time. And like that alone is just a huge like way to control somebody, like being in control of their money, being in control of like their like, so she was signed to do like 9 records or 9 albums, and they only recorded 8 and then like didn't do the next one so that she couldn't ever really get out of the agreement. And then they didn't really even release half of the music that she made. But he kind of used that as a way to manipulate her and keep her kind of wrapped around his finger because A, she was still a teenager. And B, like he probably wore, I mean, just like every narcissist, because I'm just going to go ahead and assume he's like a narcissist or a sociopath, but he probably wore this charming, charismatic mask and was like, hey, look, I have the keys to the kingdom. Like, if you want to make this record with this artist, like I have the connections, I'll set it up for you. Like, I got you. And she was probably just like, as a teenager, like, wow, this is so cool. Like, oh my God, I'm meeting all these celebrities. I'm getting all these business opportunities. And then just kind of was pulled in from there, and things probably started just like any like abusive relationship. Is it starts really great, the guy love bombs you, and then he starts slowly implementing these like abusive and controlling like tactics, and like the mask starts to slip and you start to see like what is really going on behind closed doors, but yeah, it's scary shit, bro.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's really interesting. What I've kind of noticed is that the amount of people that are supporting Diddy, which is very unusual. But if you actually look, I saw some research. People were going around asking who are these people are, because apparently there's a bunch of people in the front of the courthouse that are wearing like free Puff and free Diddy shirts.
I've been hearing about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're being paid. So
Yeah,
somebody went around and found out they're being paid like $20 an hour or something to wear these shirts that say free Puff in front of the courthouse to create this sort of
image that he's being his supporters. Oh, what a phony.
It's pretty it's really very obvious that there's some kind of manipulation going on, and which this is witchcraft at its
totally.
That's totally what this is. It's manipulation and stuff. And so like people don't recognize it as such usually. And so like what you're seeing, well, I'm hearing an echo, major echo of me. But so what you're seeing is like these people being manipulated and also manipulating, to do these type of things or whatever to support Diddy and what he has done. But the reality is, like, people kind of know, like Nikki was saying, it is very much a manipulative ring where he was taking advantage of these people. And the other thing is, like, I guess people in the court, he's covered up all his tattoos apparently, like in the court. He's covering his and he's wearing certain clothing that is very appropriate, and apparently he's only worn 5 different suits the entire court case that's been going on, and they're the same, very drab, very normal, which normally he's known for wearing outlandish kind of stuff. So he's covered up his tattoos. He's not like dyeing his hair or anything, or he's not like, he's trying to look like an innocent old man in the image of it.
That's hilarious.
Which is also interesting. And like he comes in, I guess, apparently every morning, and he does like some hand symbols, and does these hand symbols to everybody. Like he does the heart hand symbol and a few other things, like every day that he comes into the courthouse. He like makes some weird demonic sigil thing, which I just recognize that as some type of demonic offering of some kind. Yeah. But it's really interesting seeing what's going on with that situation, because it's very clearly Diddy works for the elite. Like he works for the ring. There's probably ties with Diddy that I've noticed that are tied to that country that we can't talk about, where everybody wears the little hats. And there's probably some ties to all kinds of stuff where they are utilizing this information and these people in political positions to take advantage of situations. But this is all about it's all based of trauma-based mind control is really what
he's like a lower level Epstein.
Yeah, basically that's what it seems to be. And like, I mean, when you really look into what's really going on with this stuff, it all tethers back to trauma-based mind control stuff. And like, even I guess Steve Harvey was even recently implemented in some of the stuff, and people are like, no, not Steve Harvey. But then people were watching clip. We just, on our show with my show with JT, and we do JT's mixtape, we just were watching the Steve Harvey clip, or somebody was talking about Steve Harvey. They cut all the scenes of Steve Harvey out of his show where he's talking about baby oil, like using baby oil all the time. And for those that don't know this, that when they raided Puff's place, they found a bunch of supposed baby oil.
And Harvey was bragging about that a bunch. There's a lot of clips from on the internet being like, oh, baby oil is the best ever. You should drink it, or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Sorry for cussing. Whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably GHB. I mean, maybe some of it is baby oil. I thought, like, what I got from finding that out was like, I'm like, dude, it's probably just GHB put in a baby oil bottle, so they don't know what it is,
Yeah, that's probably what it was for sure. It was probably the GHB thing, like you were saying, because I know
at that point you're just date raping people, which is probably what he was doing. I mean,
probably what he was doing, yeah. And then, I mean, there's that component of it, and there's the fact that it was like, he had that baby oil, and then there's Steve Harvey's talking about the baby oil, and it's like, well, what is it? What does anybody need baby oil that much for? Like Steve Harvey was talking about, he had a microwave installed into his bedroom, he said, so that way he could have hot baby oil in his room. Which again, that's a little bit disturbing and weird. Like,
yeah, it's just bizarre. And he's been doing this forever. I mean, I think he's behind the murder of like Biggie Smalls and Tupac and all that stuff. I mean, that's some '90s stuff that people were on. Yeah. I mean, and like Kid Cudi claimed he firebombed his Porsche. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happened. And then he groomed Usher, and then in return groomed Justin Bieber. I mean, you're hearing a lot, and like a lot of this, but this is stuff I've absorbed from media and haven't seen firsthand evidence of, to clarify. But I'm just saying, like, it seems like that, and he seems evil. I mean, and he's kind of a bad musician too. I mean, he's not really that talented. Really, he basically like rides the coattail of like talented people, and like and kind of pretends to be a producer or something. You know, whatever he does.
So they actually interviewed his former assistant today, and she was basically verifying that she was there when he kidnapped her to go with him to break into Kid Cudi's home, and she called this assistant called Cassie and told her like, "Yo, dude, who keeps fucking calling? Yo, maybe it's him." I'm just kidding.
Diddy's calling.
Like this fucking this assistant was like, they were like kidnapped, and she was like crying in court and like freaking out and like basically saying that she was like against her will was forced to go with him, and what else? She was kidnapped. Oh, he used a gun to force her to break into Kid Cudi's house. Her name was Capricorn Clark. And then what else? The guy. Oh, and then they were also saying that when they raided his home, there was a lot of they found like a lot of guns that were next to like the sex stuff, like condoms and like drugs and shit. It was all kept next to each other, which led them to believe that a lot of the sexual acts were people were coerced into it, whether they were drugged or they were like literally held at gunpoint and forced to do certain acts. And the thing is like, especially, okay, let's say like it started off like the possibility of it starting off consensual and then ending non-consensual is also a huge possibility, because it could be like, oh, come to this sex party, and they're like, okay, not really knowing the extent or like the gravity of kind of what's taking place in these freak offs, and then they get there and it's like some crazy abusive shit that they're like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. And then it becomes non-consensual, or like, they're intimidated or threatened or like, date raped, given the, date rape drug or whatever. It's still, regardless, it's still fucked up. Like, especially someone who's a retired sex worker. Like, I've been in situations myself where I agreed to one thing and then I get there and it's something completely different. And I'm like, yo, I did not agree to this. Like, what the fuck is this? And that's still something can start consensual and end non-consensually. Just because you agreed to one thing and then it changed halfway through doesn't necessarily mean that you consented to that, or that like you were okay with what you weren't told was actually going to happen,
That's how these things always start, though. They're always something that you don't expect. And that's how Satan kind of weaves his way into the world. And I don't know if you guys saw this guy, John. I think his name is John Audie. Did you guys see this one?
Oh yeah, back in the day, he claimed that he was like molested or something by Diddy or something back in the day.
Yeah, John Audie. This dude comes in and he said he was a sex slave to Sean Diddy Combs. Sex slave is what he claimed to be
during interrogation, right?
Yeah, this is a while ago. This is like 3-4 years ago, maybe.
I remember this. Yeah,
years before Sean Diddy, and like the things he was saying about Cassie and all this stuff, the things he was saying were just sounded so like, if you heard, when everybody heard this video went viral and everybody was like mocking him, making fun of the guy, thinking that he was like just a lunatic making up a bunch of stuff, saying that this was not true, and they just thought he was somebody that was schizophrenic, that was like putting these pieces together. Well, now everything he was saying is now like more than half of what he said has been validated.
Wow, that's
and like
crazy.
What he's saying is very true. Like he wasn't lying. Even though you look at it, you're like, what? How is this guy a sex slave? This weird, like, just random old baldish guy or whatever. He's just some sex slave. He's claiming to be like whatever, but
no one's safe.
no one's safe. So he
watch out, Anthony. You're next.
Yeah, I was hoping I was ugly enough to get away with not being raped ever. I was hoping. Apparently, ugly guys get raped too.
Yeah, and so the dude was saying all this stuff, and it was like very shocking. But the reality is like, guys, like Satan doesn't care who you are. He just cares that you're in a position where he can take advantage of you. He doesn't really care what you do. He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care that he doesn't care your thoughts on any situation particularly. He just cares that if you're a compromisable individual in the light, it doesn't matter what position of authority you are. They bring you in, and they bring you in these kind of positions, and it always starts off really low. It always starts off really like, on the low end, like, hey, why don't you just come over and do this little favor? And then it's like, oh, we'll do this bigger favor and do this bigger favor. And the favors continue to get more intense to the point where you're like, okay, well, now we're sacrificing a child. Like that's what you're going to be a part of because you're already so deep in. You've already done enough questionable things. You're kind of like locked into this.
Or you're getting blackmailed.
Yeah,
like
of course.
You've been filmed, and now you're being blackmailed, and your entire reputation and career is on the line. Exactly. Oh my god!
And you just gotta, you either just go along with it, or you either become, obsolete in some capacity, or you become threatened. And so that's what a lot of these people are. And so like, it's really sad. It's really unfortunate what's happening with all the people in this trial and the situation. And you can tell like they're trying to make it look really innocent. They like have his kids there even to make it look more innocent. But the kids step out when they talk about the freak off stuff that they do. But it's like, dude, he's covering up his tattoos. He's wearing very drab colors. And it's like, bro, they're just trying to paint an image of innocence. And it's very comical. I mean, they're paying people to stand out front to be like, free Diddy. They're getting paid to stand out there. Like, dude, it's just like everything is a form of manipulation to fulfill a narrative. Why? But you got to ask yourself, why are they trying to fulfill this narrative? And it's very clear because the narrative we know is not accurate. Like we know what the narrative is, probably very intentionally evil.
No, I agree. I think it's very similar to how Hugh Hefner used to tape people, mess around in the grotto, and blackmail them for their wife and stuff. And how Epstein did the same thing with like minors and stuff. I think there's like this. I think most famous. I think okay. So you of all people are very familiar probably with like Project Mockingbird and how like everybody's like a Fed or a CIA agent probably within fame and stuff outside of this new media thing we're doing. But I think so. Basically, I think that they're all Feds, and I think they're all blackmailed. And I think that basically, if they get out of line, like a Jimmy Fallon says he likes something he's not supposed to like or something like that, they're like, oh, hey Jimmy, here's you with the goat or something, or whatever terminology. Like most of these people are very blackmailed, and they're all Feds. And I think that like that's just another group we found of them is the Diddy sect.
Yep, that's literally you're probably spot on with that. It's just
that's how I feel at least.
Yeah, that's probably just another group, another control ring, and this control ring is being exposed right now. But there's multiple control rings. I mean, Oprah's got one. They've all got one. Like Clinton's have one. Like they're all there's multiple control rings where there's certain individuals that are the higher ranking officer of that individual control ring where they do this type of abuse, manipulation, and coercion. And bro, they're doing it on multiple levels, and they all answer to one country, that country with the little hats, most of them. And they all have some kind of answering to there, and they've got some connection to somebody that's got money that's paying them to be in these positions of authority. It's not like P. Diddy's releasing records constantly and making tons of money. It's not like people are just like buying his albums and like love P. Diddy so much. Like, how's he making money, bro? Like they're doing nefarious things, you know what I mean? Like they're doing stuff to stay in these positions of power, and it's all satanic. It's all Satan driven. Like Satan's the one that's running the show. He's the one that's behind all of it. He's the one that's controlling the demons. The demons control the people, and the people are ignorant of the situation. They don't even know what they're doing. Like half of these people are very much like, people like try to pinpoint like who's the head ringleader of all of it. There is none. Like the head ringleader is invisible. You ain't gonna see him. You ain't gonna find him. Yeah, he's invisible. He doesn't have like a physical body that you can pinpoint to. He's going in and out of certain people, influencing certain individuals at certain levels. So it's like, you ain't gonna find the head ringleader. It's gonna be a big chase of I don't know. And it's like, oh well, they do these good things and then they do this one bad thing, but they do all these good things, so like they can't be that bad. It's like, well, yeah, they are. Like it's their wickedness of human nature. So.
No, I agree. It spells for sure. Like I think you mentioned that in his trial and stuff, and you're very on point with that. And I think a lot of the reason I see it now too is because of like stuff you pointed out, like just your TikToks and stuff in general. And these demon erasers on TikTok are going to elaborate on that on your own time watching this. But no, it's but yeah, I definitely agree that It's just a bunch of evil. And like, I feel like the veil, I think we talked about this briefly before, either on the phone or on a stream, that like the veil's like gone or something. And like people are like waking up, or whatever the terminology, to seeing that they're being tricked and played and stuff. And like the things that used to work. I mean, he used to be able to hide behind something and be like, no, I'm famous. Don't you want to be famous? And everyone's like, I had the internet. We don't need you to be famous. Like we could just spam videos on Instagram and TikTok and be famous. Like we don't need to be blackmailed to be famous now. And I think alternative press is more trusted than regular press. I think alternative celebrities are more trusted than all other celebrities. I think Hollywood's dead. And I think it's just not I mean, we're in a good situation. Like we're the new guys like guys like you and I are like in different genres are the new guys. You know what I mean? We're like the new guy. We weren't blackmailed. We were never at Epstein's Island. We don't have to like we don't have to kiss Oprah's ring or whatever. We don't have to hang out with Weinstein. Like we skipped all the steps, and these guys are very blackmailed. It's like and it's gross and huge across the board. And like I think you're right. And we're on Rumble, so we can elaborate a little bit on Israel and Mossad doing this. And I think that I think that Mossad's one of them. I think the CIA is another one. I think the CCP is one of them. I think it's multiple countries competing for all this stuff. And I think American celebrities are basically make up for the lack of American royalty. So it's royalty across the board. I mean, I bet we have everybody. I bet we have the Saudis. I bet we have the European kings and prime ministers. I bet everyone is wrapped up in something like this. Like there's so many stories of the royals hunting kids in their backyard and going to Epstein Island and just like Diddy's no different. He's just in that little group, a low level guy like Epstein who just uses blackmail for power. And like that's what it seems like to me anyway. And I think they're all like that. I think the old guard is all like that. They have dirt on them. They're evil, and the new guard's coming. I mean, and hopefully the new guard stays good. You know.
Dude, it's really interesting because it is like a shift, and you can see it right now, and it's almost like I think the Lord is just like making some big changes because so many people are waking up to the truth right now. And like people don't realize, like, it's called the media. It's been called the media for a reason because it comes from the word mediumship, okay, which means witchcraft. Like it's called.
You taught me that,
media. Yeah, that's why the word comes from. And so it's like people think that the media hasn't been manipulating you from the very beginning. Oh, it has, since its very inception. Like the newspaper, when it was created, was intentionally created as it was a witchcraft creation. It was a creation of witchcraft. And so like the newspaper was created literally to intentionally distort, pervert, twist, and control the narrative that everybody was hearing. And like the reality is this, like, bro, we think the news is being manipulated now. Bro, we just didn't recognize how much it was being manipulated before. It's always been manipulated.
Yeah.
It's been manipulated from its inception. Like, think about this. Like, World War I and World War II would not exist had we not had the newspaper. Think about that. Because the newspaper was what put out the narrative that everybody started to believe. It was the newspapers that created this narrative that got everybody to buy into this ideology. That there was some terrible war that everybody needed to start fighting for. There was some terrible bro. If we didn't have the media, there wouldn't have been World War I. Like, think about that. That wouldn't have existed had we not put out newspapers feeding these narratives to the people, telling them to believe this thing, to create these divisions, to create these divides. Bro, we have been engineering all of this racism and wickedness in the world through the media.
Black Lives Matter is also a huge example of that. Like
recent times,
and don't get me wrong, like there I believe I've seen racism. There is racism, there is police brutality, but the way that like event upset so many people to the point where they destroyed their own city. I mean, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? First of all, how does it make sense to like fix an issue by destroying where you live? Like,
they're playing on racial tensions that exist. They're playing on the tensions that you named exist. Whenever that George Floyd thing happened, I posted on Facebook, can anyone name one reason how George Floyd was killed because of racism? Can anyone classify this? Everyone just got mad and there's no evidence of anything. So it's like it's like nothing. And then now they're on the immigrant thing. They're on the immigrant thing, and they're on the Israel. I mean, there's so many different fronts now. It changed. It basically they're just doing it over and over again.
Yeah, well, all the things like, I mean, even the immigrant thing is really interesting because it's like, why is our country being told to be stayed open? Why are all these countries being told to stay open? And you got to ask yourself, why are they being forced open? And it's not just America, it's the United States, the UK is being forced open, like Turkey, like all these other countries around the world, they're all being forced open to stay open to accept refugees.
From wars.
Where are the refugees coming from? Where are they coming from? They're coming
So-
from Palestine.
Yeah,
They're coming from Palestine. Why are they coming from Palestine? Why are all these Muslims invading all the other countries? Because somebody from one of those other countries with the little small hats is bombing the crap out of their country. And they have nowhere else to go. So, of course, they're influencing all the other countries to say, accept them, keep your borders open, accept them. They want the borders open in every other country so they can bomb the crap out of it and force them to leave, to go to America, go to, the UK, go to these other places. So they're incentivizing our system is foolishly, they're trying to fix it now, but was foolishly accepting these things and adapting these ideas, hoping that the people of Palestine would just leave and go to America so they could take over this whole region. It's creating cultural tensions because you have a group of people that lived in a region that have their cultural norms are different than everybody else's cultural norms.
Right.
And when you mix major cultural norms together, you're going to have a little bit of clashing. So you've got these people that like are used to their Sharia law concepts and all their Muslim behaviors and stuff. You have these people that are used to this stuff, and those ones are like being forced out of their communities. They want to recreate their community that they just got kicked out of. And so to the other people, to Americans, so like these Muslims are invading, trying to attack us and blah, blah, blah. Dude, they
literally have nowhere else to go or they're going to be genocided.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
They have nowhere else and they just want their, but
like,
it is creating like an issue because they're essentially taking over certain areas. And so it is creating a cultural takeover shift. So it's like forced invasion is what's happening. They're being forced to invade without any other circumstance because they would have just lived in their space where they were at. But it's like the whole world is wicked. And what people don't understand is every war that has ever existed is a human sacrifice ritual. Every single one. Okay, I want you to get this in your head because think about this. Heroism, we have been painted the idea, it's just Memorial Day or whatever. So like think about this. Like really, we like I have friends that are veterans, love them. They're amazing people. They're the most awesome people that I totally adore. But like think about this. Like there is the heroism of war is so evil that we like literally, if you are praised as a war hero, bro, you were just a sacrifice that escaped. You know what you're like? You're like the same as the people of the Hunger Games that won. That's literally all you are. And we praise them like you're a war hero.
It's like, okay, you're killing people because you think you're doing the right thing, but in reality, you're just fulfilling this like ulterior motive that the government has to get gas or get oil or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, oh, we're defending our freedom. It's like, how? Defending our freedom when like, okay, 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, that's just my personal
It was probably
belief.
Israel.
Like,
I was
9/11
looking
was
now.
an inside job. We were gaslit to believe that these people were trying to fucking, destroy us when in reality it was probably just one small like group of people, ISIS or
Israel
terrorist group. It's not the whole fucking country. Why are we going over there and demolishing and fucking everything up? And then finding out that it's all for oil. It wasn't even about like our freedom because our government doesn't even give us freedom. Like to gaslight me into believing that the government wants me to be free when they're going to try to force me to get a vaccine that I don't fucking believe in. And it just doesn't add up. It's like, it's like global gaslighting on a crazy national level.
It is, and it's all perpetuated by the elites because nobody wants war. Do you want war? No. Do I want war? No. Not a single person on the planet Earth wants war. Do you know who wants war? The only people that want war
There's so much money in it.
Are the people at top that want to sacrifice people. Okay? Evil people are the only people that want war. They're the only ones. They're the only people because nobody cares. Like, bro, if I'm selling bread on the border of another country, okay, and you're selling your noodles on the other side, bro, here, you want some bread for your noodles? Cool, awesome. I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care what I call myself. Let's just exist, right? Let's just exist and be people. It doesn't matter what the line between us is. That's irrelevant. Like, if I can sell my food and survive, we're good. Everyone's just trying to survive. So war is not about people. It's about elites. And the elites know that humans are sacrificed for a purpose. All of that killing going on in Gaza right now is a massive human sacrifice ritual. I'm not even joking you.
I agree.
It is a massive humans, and people think like human sacrifice has to be done on an altar before, like with a temple, and you have to light candles. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter like that. It just matters that they're dead. That's it. It matters that they're dead. And so when they drop a bomb, that is a temple worshiping, satanic agenda human sacrifice. Every bomb that's dropped,
especially when
they're
it's
dropping
not a terrorist group that they're attacking anymore.
Well, it's never been. It's never
women
been.
and children. They're attacking hospitals.
Yeah.
They're attacking schools. It's not even about the terrorist group that they claim that started this whole war to begin with, which again was just like a whole other version of 9/11. In my eyes, like it looked like a staged. And I'm not saying it didn't happen. I know it happened, but I think it was inside people to create this conflict, to give them an excuse to go in and start blowing everything up.
Yeah. And
in reality, it's like, if that was a small like terrorist group that committed those evil acts, then get rid of the terrorist group. Why are you going to blow up the entire children and women?
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up.
Here's the deal. I'm a Christian. I am not an Al-Qaeda spokesperson. Let me just clarify right there. So, but the thing is, I am a Christian who believes in God, and I believe in Jesus. I cast out demons and heal people and pray for people. I operate completely, entirely in love. And like the reality is this, like what's going on in Israel is not love whatsoever. Right. And if you know God, you know that whatever's happening in Israel is not of the Lord. And you know that. You know that in your heart. You know that it's not. And whether I don't support Al-Qaeda, I don't support any of those things, but if you actually look into the matter, you realize a lot of these terrorist groups are really just people, because this country that's claiming to be Israel is not Israel, the Bible. It is not good. It is a country that has hijacked the title, and they're coming in and they're attacking people at their borders, taking over their neighborhoods, pushing them out of their neighborhoods, moving into their houses, and then those people are like, hey, you know, that used to be our house. Like, dude, why are these people just kicked us out? And now they're taking over our land, our house, and cut down our trees. Dude, let's go freaking blow their house up. If we can't have our house, no one can.
It's almost
That's what's happening
from a narcissist. When you get abused enough and you finally lash out at your abuser,
yes,
and that's what to look like the bad guy.
Yeah, and so that's what you think the terrorists are. They're the people that are literally going like, yo, my house just got taken over by a bunch of people from another country. You know what? Screw that. If they can't have my house, no one can. If I can't have it. So they go and they bomb their own house and they burn their own fields, and they're like, they're terrorists. No, they're just pissed because you just took over their whole neighborhood. Bro, they're not
centuries of war going back and forth.
Yeah, and they keep doing this, and they keep expanding the borders. And if you don't believe me, just look up Israeli settlers. That's what they've been doing. The settlers, or what they're calling them, are these people that are groups, free individuals, and they can move in. And if they take over a Muslim neighborhood or a neighborhood in Pakistan at all, if they take it over, they actually get legal rights to own the neighborhood, like to get a house for free. So they're incentivized by Israel to go terrorize the neighboring places on the border to try to get their houses or their properties for free. And you're like, bro, this is so wicked and evil. This is oppression. This is so much wickedness going on right there.
Well,
it is insane.
They're the Israel from the end days. Again, Book of Revelation, that calls the synagogue of Satan. Because like David didn't have the stars, the morning stars, the flag, and then like they're not the real Jews. They're just Europeans pretending to be Jews. They call everybody anti-Semitic and get away with everything. And the real Jews are the Palestinian people they're kicking out. They're genetically speaking, those are the actual genetic Jews, basically. But what I'm saying is,
but isn't there this whole thing where like that you can't do a genetic test to see if someone's actually Jewish?
Yeah, you can't, and not in that Palestinian region. Because a guy actually tested and a Palestinian proved that he was more Jewish and that he had the right to own the house, and that he couldn't get his own house, right? And so there was a situation where he like got kicked out of his house or something. He said, no, I'm Jewish, even though I'm Palestinian. And then they proved genetically that he was actually more Jewish. And so, you know what Israel said? They said, if you're within the region, you can no longer use 23andMe or any kind of DNA testing to prove that you're more Jewish. They actually made it illegal for the people within the region.
You can't use proof to prove that you're Jewish.
I might be getting some of that wrong, but that's basically the gist of the situation of what happened.
That is so insane.
Yeah. So also, so the tactic of all these people coming to other countries is basically what Hitler did, to where like he would shoot the roofs of the German people, basically, and they would march into the Allied army, and they'd kill them all at the same time. So basically, after they kill the Muslims, they're coming for Christians, and they're basically just trying to just take over the world pretty much in this like weird way, where they just like hide behind the whatever, like. Like, oh, you can't be anti-Semitic. I'm like, well, in America, technically, we can be anything we want to be and say whatever we want to say. And like, I'm not saying
we're standing up for the real Jews. How is that anti-Semitic?
And I'm not pushing hate on either thing. I'm just sticking up for like the little guy, really, in this point.
Yeah.
And I think that like they're not really Jewish, and they're just pushing all this. Like, okay, 9/11, for example, the dancing Israelis were caught taping the towers go down. So Israel had prior knowledge to this happening, and then also they funded World War II. They also funded all these other things, and like the Jewish people, not Israel, rather, or that Jewish people, like the people pretending to be Jews.
We'll say the country of Israel. We'll say the country of Israel.
Yeah, but it wasn't a country until after World War II, so it's hard to say that.
True. You're right.
It's hard to classify because
it's
just a huge con because like Churchill is upheld by Jewish men. So is
the CIA was created the same. The CIA was created the same time the country of Israel was established. So we know the country of Israel is obviously it was created at the same time. We know it was created in unison to blackmail. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, it's just everyone's being tricked by it completely, and it sounds crazy, and it sounds evil, and it sounds messed up to even say this, but it's true. It's like you watch them happen. I mean, Epstein was definitely caught with Mossad. Like they're running all these rings and stuff. I mean, look at Kanye before he was like killed or cloned or whatever, and like he was going off on all this. That may be a too deep tangent for people. Look at Kanye a couple months ago. Whenever he was going off on all the Jewish people, they canceled his bank accounts. They made him look crazy. They put him on meds just like that, and then he comes back looking different. We'll call it that at least. If he wasn't replaced, he came back looking like a different person. So we'll say that at least. And like so, basically, they'll replace you and kill you. And then if you disagree with them, they'll call you names and stuff. And I think like Diddy's just another guy in this circus. Like most people are so insecure and so empty inside, they'll do anything for fame. They'll literally do anything. They'll sell their soul, like we all say, and that's what he did. He's just another guy who sold his soul. And like hell's full of these idiots, you know. They're full of these empty-headed morons. And I hope
you sell your soul, and then you basically are giving your body up to a demonic entity to control you and run as you. Like you're no longer there anymore. You are literally being controlled by a demonic entity at that point.
Yeah, and it's the trauma that comes from these circumstances. Like people don't think like
MK Ultra.
the MK Ultra trauma, and that's literally what MK Ultra was: trauma-based mind control. It was literally the study of demons and how to utilize demons to control people and individuals. That's what MK Ultra is about. People don't realize it; they think it's just like psychological practices. No, dude, it was demons. It was how to master demon use, and literally they abuse the individual. And they create trauma, and that creates a void space, and then the void space like breaks, and then the part of their mind separates, and then the demon enters into that void space, and that part of the void space of that person's mind is controlled by the entity. And this is literally what's happening with MK Ultra, and you see this all the time. Like I think Diddy, like whatever. When you mentioned Kanye, I think like when he disappeared for that second, bro, they were just basically abusing him so much and traumatizing him so much to the point where his mind was so divided and it's so he didn't want to even be or exist in his own body. And so he just channeled out, and then the entity took over his body. And so like when he came back, that was a fully demonized, possessed individual person that was completely taken over by whatever entity that was.
That would explain the face shape difference, because when people are possessed, they do change face shapes also.
Interesting. I haven't really looked into like what he looks like, but I mean, it's kind of crazy.
He looked a little bit different when he came back.
His shoulders are up higher and his face is chubbier now. It's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, people, and the same thing with Chappelle. Chappelle came back buff. Like, he came back just like a different guy, and his jokes aren't funny, and he just tells stories now. He doesn't really have any
he
jokes.
Disappeared on a plane and like flew to Africa, I guess, to try to get away from stuff, he said. And then his cousin actually talked about it too. His cousin came on air and said, you know, when Dave Chappelle disappeared, I was trying to get a hold of him, and his cousin kept saying like, I don't know, but when he came back, he was totally different.
That footage is on the internet. Look that up. That's great footage, actually, that Brian just brought up. Like his cousin was saying. Yeah. She said she tried to call him before he disappeared, basically. And then afterwards, he acted like he didn't even know her.
Yeah.
Or him. I forgot it was a guy or girl. I forgot it was a guy or girl.
I forget too. But it was very interesting.
That's on the internet too. Yeah, that's good. I mean, the world's so full of trickery. People believe anybody in a doctor's coat or anybody reading a teleprompter. I mean, like truth. I mean, if you don't, I mean, and I don't want to push this on people, but I mean, to be honest, but if you don't live in the word, basically, you're easy to get tricked, pretty much, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if you don't follow the gospel and you don't believe in God, you're very easy to trick. And I think that like you'll fall for anything, basically, from my perspective. and I'm not trying to be preaching anything. I just how I feel, and I think that there's just a lot of that going on. Like a lot of the old guard would have done anything for fame, and I think Diddy's no different. I think he murdered Tupac, he murdered Biggie Smalls, he tortured people nonstop. I mean, those are just the most biggest ones that were obvious in his early career. And I think that, like, I mean, and the more evil you are, the more you're rewarded in this world at first, because Satan is the governor of this world. And I think you'll be rewarded short term, but long term, I mean, you fry. I mean, there is always redemption. I mean, Jesus forgave the murderer on the cross next to him, so there's always redemption. I mean, I'm not speaking for him, but it seems like to me there's always redemption. And as long as you just repent, no matter what, I mean, we're all sinners. I mean, I'm a complete sinner, and as well. You know, I'm not trying to like just point out everybody else's sins. I mean, I've been a terrible person as well. You know, I think there's redemption for all of us, and I think that's the general message that I believe in this whole thing. You know,
I think now that we're entering into like this Christ consciousness and this 5D, and we're like ascending on a global level, like there's just no room for deception anymore, and like all of these huge like players are being exposed, and people are finally speaking their truth, and like Epstein was the first one, but then it's just kind of snowballed, and like I feel like more and more people are just going to continue to be exposed, and the truth is just going to continue to come out, and it's just going to further the awakening and force people to really see the truth of what's going on behind the, you know, who the real puppet masters are and what's going on behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Because I think that the truth is really stranger than fiction. And a lot of people just aren't ready for the truth, but the truth is going to come regardless. And, you know, it's funny how many people I've talked to who like still don't even believe in aliens after like the CIA was like, yeah, aliens are real. UFOs are real. And they're like, I don't believe in it. It's like the government said that. It's like people,
they're demons.
Their
They're
minds
interdimensional
won't
travelers.
allow them to accept certain truths that they're just not ready to like hear. It's kind of weird.
I think what's happening is like I don't know what's happening. All I know is that the Lord is waking a lot of people up right now, and God is, and I don't know if that's because we're all going to die and we're all going to get nuked, and so God's just basically culling.
I think it's
people.
coming.
I think we might just all get nuked, or something terrible is about to happen.
Drones
and
nuked.
I think. Yeah, and so I think maybe the Lord just like, hey, look, my people need to wake up now because I want to bring them home before they get killed. And I think that might be what's happening, to be completely honest. And whether that's a comet that's about to hit us in 2029, which I think might happen because there's a dude that's pretty profound prophetically, and he's said a few things and they've all come to pass. He said that in 2029, a comet Apophis is going to hit the earth, and he died after he prophesied this last thing, bro. So like, I'm just saying right now, look up Thomas Horn. It's very fascinating, Apophis prophecy, and like I think maybe that's what's coming, and maybe the Lord just like, hey, look, I need my people to basically that are gonna die. I need my people right now to wake up to the truth, so that way we're right in our hearts before the Lord, and that way when we die, we can go to be with Him. I think that's what's happening. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Also, the fact that this vaccine is probably going to kill.
Cool enough to kind of like help us out in that area.
Well,
I think aliens watching over us, you think they'd be like, "Oh no, dude, I got this," and like deflect.
Look how close we are to end days. Like in the book of Revelation, the love of self, the selfie, the merchants of the great men, Elon Musk. Israel's a nation now. It wasn't even a nation when it was written. Basically, I mean, we're very close to the last day. I mean, and no one knows the hour. Also, if I want to quote the book exactly, no one actually knows the hour. But I mean, we're very close to the closest we've ever been in documented times, at least, to globalization. And then, like, I think every generation thinks it's the last, but I mean, I sincerely doubt we'll reach old age because of, I just have this overwhelming feeling.
What if like the end of times is really just the end of a paradigm or the end of the third dimension? And we're
it is.
These are
souls are infinite, so technically
it might be a symbology for like awakening and the death of our old paradigm and our death of our old self. It might not be a physical death.
I think it's a body death, but not a soul death.
Okay.
I think you're staying on point, and I think it's the end of this whole like illusion thing that's happening here. This like this
breaking
matrix
out of
thing,
the
this
matrix.
God simulation thing. I that's my opinion.
It's called the end of the age, is what they would call it to some degree.
Yeah, like the Hinduism says yugas and stuff, like their 1,000-year cycle. I think we're in this like evil time right now where evil's like dancing around and provoke and on. So you imagine half this stuff happening right now, like when Elvis danced and he just changed gospel music to rock music, they like fucking they went crazy. Excuse my language. They went crazy on this, and like I mean today when we went to that Rockville thing, Bryan, we went to this Rockville thing. I was watching was Rob Zombie just had satanic stars everywhere, and they're doing all these like weird chants. I felt like I was at a satanic ritual.
You were,
and
totally.
And I'm just like watching all this stuff and like And I'm just like, man, I hope these guys aren't falling for this. I mean, Rob's and it's weird. These spells don't work on me because I'm just like, man, this music sucks. You know, I'm just like, well, I'm just like kind of like it's like I heard like this band 3 Days Grace or something. I'm like, this fat old guy's just singing, and all these people are singing with him. I'm like, what's going on? Does no one have eyes?
You're
and ears?
realizing it.
No, and the lyrics too. There was a lot of lyrics that were super dark and just like, I'm miserable or I'm in pain. It's like, I'm not gonna sing that out loud.
Dog. Yeah, I'm not in pain.
Oh wow, it's terrible.
Yeah, I wish I could have took you there, Bryan, to see just for your perspective. It would have been funny to shoot a documentary of your perspective of like this festival, because you'd just be like pointing out all the witchcraft and stuff. and I honestly wish I would have thought of that. But I didn't know what I was getting into, to be honest. And I still had great interviews, and like the bands are nice. The bands I talked to were very nice.
Yeah.
The ones that said no, I don't care. But I'm saying like, but no, it seemed like I was at a satanic ritual and it was really weird. And off camera, I want to ask you some questions, actually pretending to the demons like after we got out of here. Or I mean, I mean, we kind of went unrelated to Diddy anyway. I may just ask you now, but I mean, it just depends. Yeah, I'll ask off camera. But no, it was no, it just felt like that. And I think, like I said, like I think Diddy's wrapping out. I think he had sacrificial murders, and I think it rewarded his career. And I think like that's where we're at. It's just like I mean, we're either in end times or there's a bunch of guys pretending they're the guys from end times. You know, it's like, I'm not sure which. And they warned us in the book of Revelation. And like, you read a book of Revelation, I mean, other than the 5-headed monster coming out of the ocean, you're really, I mean, and maybe I didn't see that. I don't know. But I'm saying like,
who's the Antichrist? Do you think it's Diddy? Do you think Diddy's the Antichrist?
No, he's not powerful enough. He's just like a pretend artist. He's like I think
He's
like,
the
I mean,
wannabe
honestly, if you look at two things, it may be Trump. Trump was hitting the head like the Antichrist was hitting the head, and then also he moved the capital of Israel to Jerusalem, I believe, which was the Antichrist did also. So I mean, Trump did two Antichrist things so far. I mean, I don't know. He did two Antichrist things. I mean, but I mean, but also it may be like we're also on the last pope. I think you guys all know that. From all the prophecies and stuff, we're on the last pope. I mean, and I think we're all the adrenaline kind of, the three of us are like adrenaline kind of people that probably, as a soul, beg to see the end of the world. Like, put me in, coach. I want to see the end, you know?
I want to see the end of the world in other lifetimes. It's pretty fucking nuts. I'll be honest. Like,
I just feel like we're those adrenaline seeking types where like we would have been like, as souls, I'm like, I want to see this, man. I want to see it. I want a front row seat.
Yeah. Definitely the Lord's put the people here that are here are supposed to be here, because honestly, like I think whatever's happening, you got to have some level. There's a divide right now, and the world is dividing, and it's like God's people and then the world's people, and it's so becoming so clear. It's just like getting more and more. The chasm is becoming bigger and bigger. And I'll tell you guys, like if you want to know, like the Lord literally is so easy. It's so easy to follow God in a lot of ways, because like he told us, you know, to listen to your heart. He literally said, and a lot of Christians might be like, don't listen to your heart, like blah blah blah. Where's it saying in the Bible? It actually says this in the word. It says, I will write my commandments upon their heart. And so a lot of people are so caught up in Christianity in the sense of like, oh, you got to be a prude, and you can't do this, you can't do this, and blah blah blah. Like Jesus said, I came not to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. Okay, so that means the law is done. Okay, when something's fulfilled, it's done. And so what is sin now? Because you really got to ask yourself, like, what is sin? Jesus said, I will write my commandments upon their hearts. So sin is exactly what you know in your heart is wrong, and you continue to do it. Just so you know, it's very simple. It's a very simple message that a lot of people don't understand this. And Christians try to like say, no, you got to follow these rules, and you got to follow this in the Bible and that in the Bible and this, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, Jesus laid it out. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself, bro. Love is the answer. Love. Love.
Like, what would Jesus do?
Yeah, you have to love people.
In any situation, you ask yourself, what would Jesus do? How would Jesus respond to this situation? Would he punch the guy in the face?
No.
Or would he walk away? Like,
but not just
the homeless, or would he fucking steal? Like,
simple. And not just would like what would Jesus do in that sense, but like in your heart, you got to think even deeper. Like what would Jesus think? And you got to think about it like this: like if you feel convicted about something in your heart, to be a Christian is somebody that that struggles with that conviction and does the right thing. Okay, and not just the right thing when people are watching, but the right thing when nobody else is watching.
That's when it's
and
the most important. Honestly.
And you know, because the Lord, it says He rewards you in secret. And so, like, if you know in your heart, like, there's this common trope that you see in Christianity. It's like, well, brother, being a good person isn't going to get you to heaven. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, being a bad person is definitely going to keep you out. Okay, I'm going to tell you, or like, so like, I don't freaking care, dude. Like, what you think? Like, being a bad person ain't gonna get you in either. Like, it ain't gonna. Like, you need to be a person that loves people, and you need to be a person that operates in love, unity, compassion, and you gotta love people. And like, we are literally, our society is so wicked, and you see this divide, and it's like people aren't loving people, and they're just like hating people and hurting people and lying to be, and it's just like, you just see all this wickedness, and it's so not of God. And that divide is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the chasm is getting bigger between the haves that have the Holy Spirit and they're being led by their convictions, and those that are just being led by their carnality and like, oh, this is what the world is. And so I don't know what's coming, but I'll tell you right now, I mean, something's coming. If something big is coming, really big, because the way he's waking people up right now is alarming. Let's say that, to say the least.
No, it's terrifying, and I haven't been living right either, man. You know, to be honest with you, I don't feel like I've been living right. I've been trying to and stuff, and I think I was till my mom passed. I think I got kind of bitter and messed up a lot, but I'm trying to fix it and trying to repent type thing. You know, I mean, I'm aware of my mistakes is what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to live right, because I think I was draft picked. You know, I felt how dirty my soul was at one point, and I think we all kind of came from that lifestyle, you know, to where like we're all like just being whatever we thought the world, or being of the world rather, is the easiest way to say it. And I haven't been living right. I mean, I need to get back into it. You know, I've been trying to, and I just think just saying that publicly helps like me be accountable. But I mean, rather than just pretend I'm this some good person. But I mean, I really just need to. I really need to get back to that. And I think it's close. I think like I don't know. I got like the soul of a prankster. You know, I feel like. I'm like a good person. I got the soul of a prankster. I'm not treating people right. I'm not talking right to people. I'm not doing. There's a million things I need to work on. But I'm just saying personally, I think that and this isn't.
But God loves you, and He works on you. God loves you, and He works on you from glory to glory. It says so. He takes you through these steps. You just got to go. Okay, this is the thing I'm working on. I got to stop doing that.
Exactly, and I feel like I'm being accountable. I feel like I'm trying to be accountable, at least publicly, even, you know, rather than just like be like, oh, you're all sinners but me. You know, it's like you know, it's just like man, I got a lot of work to do, and I feel like everybody does to a degree, you know, too. And it's like, and I know I haven't been living right, and I'm trying to live better. You know, I think, and like I was very lucky. I thought this was all Harry Potter at one point. You know, I didn't believe any of it. And I lived opposite of it, and I was woken up like I guess around 28 or so, and I just kind of saw it all. And I was never introduced to religion, never grew up in a church, none of that. And like and then like no, it just kind of clicked with me one day, and I'll explain a little. I'm gonna ask you about this after the show. When this here show was about an hour mark, but no, the other day I had this dream where this like demon followed me out of a dream, and like I was messing with him in the dream, basically, obviously, because I'm me, and I was messing with him and stuff, and then he followed me out of a dream, and then shot me with this like green ray thing, and then paralyzed me pretty much where I couldn't move or speak, and then like and I'm still trying to fight, you know, because I'm not a coward, and I'm trying to wake up my wife so we could just like beat in my mind like. She grabs in my head or something, you know. I'm like, and I can't move. And then I said, "God, please save me." And I came out of it, and that's the only thing I could say. I couldn't say Gabrielle, which is my wife's name. If you're not unfamiliar watching, I couldn't say Gabrielle, and I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. So I was trying to get that little ray gun he had, and like and basically I just go, "God, please save me." That's the only words I was able to say, and he disappeared. And he followed me through dimensions. I think I was astral traveling, and I do this thing in my dream right before something bad happens. I wake up and escape because it was just funny. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just wake up, and then like you know what I mean. So I get out of it, and then they followed me into that, and I'm just like, and I actually just want to know your perspective on that, Bryan. Like I looked up this thing. Oh, let me tell you the rest of my information I have first. Sorry, I went down this rabbit hole. And then I was like, I found out that there's painting of this demon from the 1700s and sleep paralysis. Most people that have sleep paralysis see a shadow figure, and they see 4 different shadow figures. And I'm sure Bryan, you know, sorry, I add context to the listeners, but I'm just saying, but basically they see one of the 4 shadow figures. And one of the shadow figures I found a painting of them from the 1700s. So this has been happening for a while. And what is your perspective on that, Bryan? Before I keep mumbling.
So there is, I mean, keep going. I mean, keep going. It's great because there is multiple figures that people see. Usually the shadow people, there's the hat man that people sometimes see. There's this small shadow figure that I've also seen that people have encountered. And then there's a really, really tall one. And then there's one that's also a gray one that I've heard of.
And a girl one, a succubus also.
Yeah. And there's a girl one. So yep. So I mean, keep going.
A great variety.
Questions.
When I had that dream, I immediately remembered my dad had sleep paralysis, and I called him. I texted him because he's working in his job, like monitors him so much. I'm like, hey, can you take a call? He's like, yeah. So then I call him and I'm like, hey, when you had sleep paralysis, did you see a shadow figure? And he's like, yeah, actually I did. And he told me years ago he had a terrifying experience like the same as I did. And I was like, And it was literally like, and then I go downstairs. So I have a bar downstairs for my office. Dad, context, people who don't know. And I go down there and I go, hey, John, one of the bartenders. I go, have you ever had sleep paralysis? He goes, yeah. I go, did you see a shadow figure? And he saw the hat one. And like I saw this blob one. It was like this little blob. And I'm trying to capture
red or
the guy.
green eyes because a lot of them will have red or green eyes.
That may have been his eyes. I saw green shoot at me and I couldn't do anything. It may have been his eyes. I thought it was a gun though. And like I thought he had some weird gun. And I want to capture this guy. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I just want to I'm like he traveled through dimensions, I think, through a mirror system. I have mirrors in my bus. I think he hopped mirrors and I went back to my body. That's what I think. That's how I think he got to me. Well, like he hopped from my dream or wherever I was astrally to back to me. And like I'm trying to capture the guys. I'm like, that's how I feel. I'm like, I'll just put you.
He came through your mirror?
I'm assuming. I didn't see
should
that
lock
happen.
Your mirror.
That's what I read about later. Like, so
lock your mirror because things can travel through your mirror is a portal. Like,
I think that's what he used because he came from the left side of my bus. And then there's two mirrors that way, and then the TV. I was wondering if my wife's
are
like,
the
maybe
mirrors
the TV
facing each other?
Yes, actually they were.
Okay, that's not good.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's why I suspect he transferred through the mirror whenever I projected back to my body, and then he froze me because I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you trying? Like I'm not like scared of these things. I'm like a man of God.
You can always put like a fabric over it before you go to sleep.
That's what I heard. I read that too.
Yeah, you could. That's a good way to lock it.
Hey, Bryan, your mic muted. I think. What'd you say? I can't hear your mic, which is weird. Hang on.
Oh, hey, no, I'm here.
Okay, there you go. Sorry.
But yeah, no, that's a literally, I mean, that's very interesting. So so a lot of people have these experiences and people think it's irrelevant or that it's, it's just nonsensical sometimes, but these are real common experiences, guys. These are common experiences that happen with everybody, like to some extent. And so this is very real. These are very, traceable experiences that you can look at in these situations. And so like there's so much. What would you say?
PhDs try to claim it's a hallucination when I look it up, because they're liars. But everyone else I've ever talked to with sleep paralysis, except for one or two people, I've probably talked to about 20 people that this has happened to in the last week, and like all of them see the shadow figure, like 2 or 3 people, and they all see one of the 4 people we were discussing. I didn't hear anyone see the gray one yet, but I heard the hat one. I heard the small one. I heard the succubus kind of girl, incubus. Sorry.
Succubus, incubus. It's a male and female version of the same.
Thanks for. I did not know that. Thank you for elaborating. I did not know that. No, I'm just saying. I think that was very real, and I think they're trying to mess with me because I'm not. Like I said, I haven't been living the best, and I need to get back into it. And I think they're preying on the weakness of that. But I think as soon as I called to God, they're just like, That's the only words I could even say was, God, please save me. And that's the only words I could even say because and it was so weird. I couldn't say my wife's name. I couldn't. I wanted to wake her up and just be like, grab him. You know what I mean? I'm just like, let's get him.
Get him, dude.
Get him. I'm like, you know what I mean? I just want to capture these guys because I don't know. I'm one of those guys. I'm a big fan of Michael who's lucky enough to stab
just get a big net.
Fire pit,
Get a giant net and keep it next to your bed.
Can you imagine capturing a demon?
Well, King Solomon supposedly did that, and he captured demons.
How did he capture the demon? How do you do it?
He had a sigil. He would use a specific sigil, and I think he put them in a jar.
Was a ring,
I don't know where he put them,
supposedly.
actually.
It was a ring that he had.
It was a ring.
That had a sigil on
that ring. A ring you wear, like that story. How he got the ring. How he got that? How he paid the guy.
This is where the Freemasons get their whole lineage and their whole occultic stuff. This is an occultic text. This is the Lesser Keys of Solomon. This is a witchcraft book. Probably don't read it. I wouldn't recommend. But the witchcraft book talks about some of the stuff that he did. But like he did have a ring that he threw at the chest of a demon, and it captured the demon somehow. And then he used and it bound them, and he used them to build stuff for him and make things. He built the
He would
temple,
basically make
supposedly.
them his slaves.
Yeah, this is exactly. So it's
I'm
very
not
it's
doing
very
that because, but I will capture him.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't-
it's very interesting, but
No,
It
you
is
say-
pretty interesting.
I want to capture him and watch me like give food to the homeless. Like, this is what you're supposed to do, man. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do this,
man.
bro. You're supposed to live righteous. I always pray for the fallen angels too, and it always clears the room. I'll just
Yeah.
God, please forgive the fallen
That's the
angels.
best way that we learned in my healing class to get rid of demons is to like pray for them, like pray for the person, but also pray that God takes because sometimes demons can be ghosts that are like in psychosis or like traumatized and don't even know that they're dead and just like looking for energy source. But a lot of them are malevolent. So, but some of them are. I mean, it depends. There's different types, right? But my spiritual teacher told us to basically send love and light and send it up to God. Send the entity or demon up to God to be healed through God.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't send anything to a demon. I would just be like, hey, bro, like I just send him to the abyss. I don't even send him to the light. I send him to the pit. I
like
send him
both for different reasons.
yeah, like I'm just like, you don't get to go to this, but like you're tormenting, go to hell, like go to the abyss, go to the pit. I was like, that's where you go, and then I just send them that way is what I do, and then it seems to work pretty well because they don't come back usually.
Obviously,
I like both for different
Yeah.
reasons.
Either way, I think.
I found someone was Silver Thinker's Endgame. I found demons through taking pictures of my phone. My friend Mary can capture that too, the dead and demons through, which are probably the same thing. The demons.
Yeah.
She should capture them through her photos. Her name's Mary Johnson. A medium Mary is her name. If you're looking at that, if you're watching this one, look at that. Yeah, they can be captured. Like at least maybe not captured. They can be proven through like this and stuff, and like I don't know how many messages I get through like random things through my phone all the time. Like I don't know, like it's always like a weird thing. I think electronics are easy to manipulate if you're in the other world.
Yeah,
I feel like they
it
definitely can
seems like
manipulate technology because there's been weird spiritual disturbances.
oh
like,
yes,
even sometimes when I'm trying to like get out a channeled message or like I'm trying to like get out a spiritual message, like it'll be like the phone won't work or like weird shit will start happening where it's like there's almost like disruption or disturbance or like I don't know, like weird technological like shit starts acting weird.
yeah. The thing is, like, demons are energy of some kind.
Yeah.
And so there's little small circuit boards in your phone, and they can influence and manipulate the little tiny waves of zapping little circuit board components. So they can affect phones and electrical devices to some degree. And
They're unemployed angels. They got a lot of power.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Unemployed.
power. Yeah,
get a job, bum.
Yeah, unemployed for sure. And so they're definitely. I mean, it's wickedness, it's evilness that their motives are that I've noticed, and they're always. I mean, sure they could pretend to be good, but for the most part, they're always evil in my opinion.
There's some
But
pain.
yeah,
They're in a lot of pain.
yeah. But the thing is, this is the cool part. So like the cool part is like with the Lord, when you start seeking righteousness, like you start seeking Jesus and the authority that Jesus carries, like he has promises to prosper you. It says he has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power. So he gives us power. So when we walk in righteousness, there's more authority that we can carry in the name of Jesus and what we're doing. So like even encountering these kind of things, the more you walk towards serving the Lord, the more authority you will carry to where I can just be like, get off the device now, get off, and it will obey, and the demon's going to listen, and it's going to go because it knows that it can't rebuke the authority of Christ that we carry because it gets way in trouble. And it just can't resist the power of the authority of Christ. So it's like,
They're just not that powerful at the end of the day. They don't have a physical body.
They're weak.
Yeah,
They
weak.
gaslight us into thinking they're powerful, but they're really not that
They're
powerful.
very weak in this world. In this reality, they're very, very weak. But they can cause sickness in a lot of people because they do it in little tiny ways that grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so they have lots of ways of causing little insignificant changes in your life or your body or whatever. And so the demons will start to try to do this kind of stuff if they can get away with it, right? Yeah. But when we walk in the authority of Christ and we renew our mind and we walk in purity and righteousness, like the authority will stick to us, and we can carry this authority. And the demons recognize it when you walk in this authority. They're afraid of these kind of things. Yeah, they're afraid. They're afraid of you when you start walking in the righteousness of Christ and start serving the Lord. And that's the cool thing. It's not like a lot of Christians are like, I'm a Christian, I don't do anything wrong. Like, bro, I don't listen to music, I don't drink alcohol, I've never drinking alcohol, I've never done a drug, I've never smoked a cigarette. I I don't do a lot, but like a lot of people be like, man, that's boring, bro. It ain't boring at the slightest. Do you want to know what I
completely
get
envy
instead of
that,
all
to be honest, Brian.
Yeah,
I completely
dude,
envy that, to be honest.
well, bro, you'll get there eventually, bro. Like the Lord will carry you through it. And like, here's the thing, like, you know, I don't watch movies, nothing, but like the thing is, like, it's not sad for me. Like a lot of people, like at first I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that, but you get a spiritual authority that comes with it. So it's not like you're just giving up these things for nothing. Like you give these things up to recognize things in the spirit. You give these things up to have spiritual gifts, bro. You give this stuff up and then you get prophecy. You get dreams that tell you what's going to happen in the future. That happens to me all the time.
By the way. I got those back, by the way.
There you go. There you go.
I quit smoking weed 27 days ago, and I had my dreams back. And
Amen. There you go, bro. Dude. How cool is that? Like, people don't understand. Like, the weed smoking demon will literally steal your anointing of dreams. It will steal those dreams. And it like that, it severs your connection to the spiritual sense when the Lord wants to speak to you through dreams. Because he says he speaks to us through dreams and visions. And so like there's payments for these type of things. And like, bro, it's so true. It's so true. Dude. And you get these anointings, bro. You get these spiritual bro, you will start hearing things. Tell me.
Dude, sorry, I get excited. Tell me. Dude, I'm so excited. Okay, so I saw a dream where somebody tried to shoot me. And the dream basically, and I did the obvious wake up to escape thing I always do. So then I was on Instagram and there was like a literal message. It was like a meme. It was a literal message goes, God said, it was God. I sent that dream to you on purpose. And I saw that. Oh no.
Oh my God.
I made peace with him immediately because I realized I was in the wrong for how I was treating him and stuff like that. And I was like, hey man, I was in the wrong for that. If you need any help, let me know, man. I'm really sorry. And then it abolished it. It was like, dude, I think I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but I was being kind of mean to somebody over like something really petty. And then like I apologized and realized I was like, to be honest, I was in the wrong, not worthy of being shot, but I was being in the wrong. And I reached out to the person and I think I absolved that. And the dream saved my life probably, or at least saved his life because I probably just beat him up still. But you know, like Gunner. But it was like such a weird thing. And like I was flipping through Instagram and literally a message said that. It was like literally it's like, God, I sent you that dream on purpose. I'm like,
that's so funny.
Dude, yeah. And I've been having I have like dreams that predict the future like all the time. And it's
bro, that's so cool, dude. That's the Lord. Like, bro.
I suppressed him when my mom was sick because I got tired of seeing my mom sick in my dreams, and I didn't want to be sad all the time. So I suppressed him on purpose. But I've been almost sober for 27 days. I still drink some beers, and I took a Xanax to sleep the other night. But I want to clear everything out. I'm going to clear everything out and quit smoking other people's cigarettes. Those are my favorite things.
Other people's cigarettes.
I'm basically I'm so close to being complete. Weed was my only real problem. I did it all day. I couldn't even do a podcast without smoking the whole time and pissing off my office building and shit and stuff. Sorry.
It gives you brain fog. It makes you lazy, bro. I mean,
it makes me content with being uncontent.
Yeah, but Anthony, bro, you are a child of God. You are a son of God. Like, to the children of God, like, bro, do they smoke? The children of kings smoke? Do kings and royalty smoke? No. Do the kings and royalty do these things? Like, they don't do these things, but that's who you are, Anthony. And you got to like wake up to the realization of what the authority of Christ is in you, bro.
I have it. I'm trying.
And, like, you got to see yourself as the king, as the son, as the prince, as the anointed child of God that you have been called to be. And when you see that yourself in you, bro, like the authority, it sits on you, bro. You have prophetic dreams even in yourself right now, like still in the spot where you're at, bro.
Being righteous, bro.
Imagine, like, bro, walking in this, and this authority grows, and then imagine how much more your dreams will grow. Imagine how much more your anointing will grow. Imagine how much more your authority will grow, bro. Imagine having a dream where you just like, bro, any movie you watch is gonna be stupid compared to the experience you just had. Like, bro, the experiences you just had right now is like
more interesting
any movie. I would way rather have something like this. Yeah, and it's just like, bro, you can have epic stories that the Lord is sharing with you and wake up the next day and then be able to go tell somebody and it means something and you just saved somebody's life or you just cured somebody from cancer. You just, dude, bro, this is like living the life of Christ and walking in that righteousness is so much more exciting and so much more epic than anything that the church people have been teaching us for the last, I don't know, 20 years or 50 years that they've been going. It's been boring. It's been stupid church that's stupid unanointed, Holy Spirit people took over and hijacked the church. And so we have this vision of Christianity. We have this vision of Christianity that is not accurate to the way the Lord wants to move through us, unfortunately. And so the world's view of Christianity is just like this prudish, don't do anything bad kind of idea. Bro, no, I have
even just being
dreams.
judgmental as fuck.
Bro, yeah, I have dreams and prophecy.
The most judgmental people ever.
Bro, like I'm a Christian.
So close-minded and just like mean. But then on the same token, they're super hypocritical because they're just total assholes.
In order to push people away.
What Jesus was like, and you claim to be a follower, like.
Bro, you gotta operate in love, bro. Like you have to operate in love, bro.
And be accountable.
And it's like
you can't just pretend like you're perfect all the time. That's a lie.
No.
Only Jesus was perfect. Jesus was the only perfect person on the planet that ever walked.
Unrealistic.
Yeah,
it's unrealistic.
But we just didn't do it. We could have. We just didn't do it. Like Jesus, you know what I mean? Like Jesus did it. It proves it's possible. We just didn't do it.
We have to do it though. That's the thing. We've got to try to do it. We got to try to walk in that. And so it's like we'll never be perfect from the beginning to end. But when we strive for it, that's the effort of becoming a Christian.
Yeah.
It's striving for that. Saying, "Hey, look, I know this is probably wrong, and I shouldn't be doing this thing." And then saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this thing anymore. And you cut it out of your life. And you go, you know what, how am I going to make money? How am I going to make money doing this thing? This is my life. This is my job. Bro, God will watch God prophesy into your life. Watch God do some epic thing. When you take the thing that you know in your heart that you shouldn't be doing and you cut it out of your life, watch the Lord replace that income. Watch him. Watch how good he is. Watch what he'll do and bless you when you start honoring him by doing the thing you know you're right and you're supposed to. You literally
your own blessings when you're not doing the right thing.
So true. And
I'm so good at creating my own reality and other people's reality. So I'm like so good at it, and I just need, like I said, there's like about 5 things if I was to estimate like things holding me back, and once I get rid of those things, I'll just be shining on everybody. And I'm trying my hardest, man. I'm trying. I'm
shine away, bro.
I just get wrapped up in dumb things, I just like But
so the only time I ever had a sleep paralysis was actually like one of the few experiences I had where like I saw aliens.
Well, yeah, a lot of people see aliens.
What that means?
Aliens are demons.
They weren't scary. I didn't feel scared or helpless or like.
Well, that's because they're probably trying to be your friend, and you've been channeling them probably. So like they end up becoming friendly.
They're always demons.
They're always demons.
Even the aliens, they travel interdimensionally. They look reptilian. They're always demons. And I'm not saying
look reptilian. I mean, they didn't look reptilian. They were like blue.
So I'm going to tell you right now.
There's several kinds of aliens.
Multiple kinds. I'm going to tell you right now. I know a guy that
you guys are
literally
saying all aliens are demons.
All of them.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying a lot of them are. I don't know.
I will say they all are.
There's so many aliens everywhere.
They already have. They already have. They
Dude,
took over.
They already taken over. And like I'm gonna say right now, every alien is the demon, every single one of them. And that's my belief, and that's because of what I've experienced working with. Like, bro, I cast out demons. You know how many people tell me their alien stories? And bro, they are exactly the same as people that have demon stories. Every single one. Every single experience is the same. It's like this. It's hand in hand identical. Like
the devil's a liar. He'll say anything but the truth.
Yeah, literally. They want you to believe that they are your friend. They want you to believe they're aliens. They want you to believe that they're not bad guys from a spiritual realm. They want you to believe that they're from another dimension and that they're somehow the good gods or whatever. Bro, they've been telling that story forever, bro. It's the same story they've been telling all the other people.
Like the Anunnaki. I mean,
they're the Anunnaki. They're demons. Right. They're all demons. They have all been demons from the very
then what
beginning.
about when I've done past life regressions and I've had past life dreams, like I'm an alien on another planet.
Yeah, that's a demon. Okay, look. When you do past life regression, what you're doing, demons can transfer memories. So they have the ability to wipe memories. I've seen it firsthand. I've literally been praying for a dude, and I watched a demon-possessed man, the demon-possessed guy and his friend. I watched the demon-possessed guy like stop manifesting like the demon as it was talking through him, walk over to his friend, touch him on the forehead like this, go boop. And the guy his friend that saw the whole thing was in total shock because his friend's freaking speaking Arabic and he's some little white kid that's never and he's like speaking different languages and the demon knows stuff about everything and he's like tripping out. I watched him touch the guy on the forehead and our mutual friend just blanks out when he touches him on the forehead. He's like, blah. And all of a sudden I'm like, bro, he's like, what's going on? Like, oh, this is weird. And dude, the next day I'm like, bro, how was your friend when we dropped him off? He's like, what are you talking about? And it wiped the kid's memory. The demon-possessed man, literally, he didn't even remember half of what happened, not even remotely.
I've seen that happen.
I've seen people
get possessed and they didn't have any, like when the demon was actually controlling them, They had no memory of it.
They
So,
can
like,
not
wasn't
only
no
wipe
consciousness running
memories.
shit.
Yes, they can not only wipe memories, they can plant memories. I've seen them do the same exact thing. They can put memories in a person's mind and make them think that this is their old life or this is what happened in the circumstance. Demons can transmute their own memories to people. So demons have memories and they can share their memories with you. And so people get past life regression.
Aliens to us, wouldn't we be aliens to them? Would that make us demonic?
No, because this is the world of flesh. We eventually go to the spiritual realm. So all of us eventually go to the spiritual realm. They're already there though, because they lost their bodies, because their bodies were physical at one point, a lot of them, but they were the disembodied Nephilim, half angel humans that compose most of the demons.
But what about planets where there's like beings?
They go to planets. Yeah, the demons go to other planets. They can go to other planets. Like the demons can go to any other planet.
There's got to be like one planet where they're not demonic. I mean, to say that every single planet that's not us is demonic is a little like extreme.
But I'm gonna say right now, I believe the Lord created us to be the center of the universe. And so the reason why, because even right now, okay, listen to this, Nikki. Right now,
this is a little narcissistic. We're the center only.
Okay,
it sounds very like.
Let me explain it to you.
Only my religion is right, and no one else's is right, and everything else is bad.
Of course, let me explain it to you. It's very simple though. Like, think about this. Okay, so we are the center of the universe, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because there is a thing we can measure. It's called cosmic radiation. And we actually have a special camera that looks out to the atmosphere, to the galaxy, and we can measure the cosmic radiation. Bro, this camera took a photo of the entire galaxy all the way around, supposedly. Okay, big loop around. And there is a band of intense radiation that goes throughout the entire galaxy. That band is exactly in alignment with our equator. So that means all the intense radiation goes like this around the whole Earth, and it's a band in the entire galaxy at the same degree tilt that we're supposedly at. The entire universe is at the same exact tilt that matches our Earth. If the sun's the center of the Earth, the galaxy still is in alignment with the Earth. Even if the sun's the center of our galaxy, the entire universe is in alignment with our Earth. Not just our galaxy, the entire thing has a band of radiation that matches up with the rotation of our Earth. How insane is that? To think that we're the only, to not think that we're the only ones in this world, like the aliens. I don't know, is everybody frozen? To not think that we are that there's other things out there, I think is almost at this point naive in the sense, because it's so obvious from a physical standpoint to see that we are the center of the universe. We are the center of the entire freaking galaxy, bro. We are the universe's cosmic radiation aligns with us. Like, not just that, like, and there's so much more. If
the universe is infinite, is there really a center?
That's the point. We are kind of the center. That's the point. Like, we are the center of everything. And so when you realize that we're the center of it all, and the cosmic radiation is coming out from our Earth, like the center of everything, and it's a perfect band all the way across the universe. Science can't even prove it. They're like, oh, well, that's just a really weird coincidence that we happen to be at the same exact angle of the cosmic radiation of the entire universe. Yeah, it's just a strange, perfectly strange coincidence. And they try to avoid this question, bro. That means we're the only Earth. That means we're the only thing in this whole universe, if that's the case. And I know that sounds like ridiculous to try to get into the detail. We can go into the details and I'll explain it to you, but we got to pull up images and stuff. But regardless, we are the center. So the other planets, God said he created for us. It literally says that he created the stars and the moon and the sun and everything for us. So it was created for us.
Demonic if he created them for us.
They are not. They weren't there. They're just there to exist for signs and.
Well, aliens aren't. What he's saying is aliens aren't real. They're demons pretending to be aliens. Like basically that like these demonic energies are pretending to be like aliens, other people, other things. Like to where they put the idea of space, they put the idea of other things, and there was supposedly
it's called the soul lure system because it lures your soul away from the truth. It's the soul lure system.
Are angels demonic?
Well, no,
some of them.
Well, the ones that fell.
Yeah.
Are.
But what about the other ones? Where do they live?
Well, they live in a spiritual plane. There is no other the thing
dimensions,
it's another dimension. Yeah, it's another dimension. It's not our dimension.
Isn't that
our Earth,
multi-dimensional aliens?
That's what
they
they're
are.
Multidimensional, but they're pretending to be aliens.
They're pretending to be aliens, but they're not aliens. There is no aliens.
Multidimensional, though. Yes.
Then how can you tell the difference between the multidimensional alien demons and the angels?
Well, that's a really hard to tell difference, actually.
Question. I don't know.
It's a very hard to tell difference, to be completely honest.
I don't know. That's a great question.
You can't. You can't tell half the time. And I'm going to be completely honest. It's really difficult to tell.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to tell the difference. And the thing is,
it can't all be demonic. I mean,
well,
only the fallen angels
make everything demonic, right?
Only the fallen angels are demonic.
So here, let me explain
something to you.
Or not. Yeah, the ones that reign in heaven are not demonic, and they're not on the earth necessarily always. They're following us. There's angels following you. There's
like guardian angels, stuff like that.
There's an angel around.
I've had experiences with angels too, and they haven't been like evil.
Okay, well, there's angels that claim to be angels, and they're not. Okay, there's a lot of that going on. They're called fallen angels. Okay,
right.
So they were angels at one point, but they're
not.
We
all
anymore.
have guardian angels too.
Yeah, we all have guardian angels, and so the interesting thing is like there's characteristics of angels, and there's characteristics of the Lord. Okay, and the way to tell the difference is very finite. It's very difficult. Okay, but I'm going to tell you right now, the only way you can tell is if you know the characteristics of God, and that's the only way we can hear His voice. Because God's speaking to you right now, Nikki. God's speaking to you all the time, but you don't recognize it necessarily.
She's so powerful. Like, He wants to be on our side for sure.
Yeah, like you just don't recognize that the Lord's talking to you. Probably, like you probably don't even hear Him, and like you don't realize that.
Why do you say that?
Well, because God's voice is very difficult to discern, and what ends up happening is like, well, I know, but you could be hearing Him all the time, but you don't necessarily know. That's what I'm getting at. Like the only way to know if you're really genuinely listening.
And you is figurative. Lord, he means all of us. Like
yeah, I mean everybody. I'm not saying you. I'm not pointing at you, by the way. Okay, so so what I'm saying is it's really hard for us as humans to figure out if God is talking to us or if it's another entity. Right. And the best way to tell is if we understand God's character. Now, I'm going to give you a cheat, okay, for understanding some of God's character, okay? Number one, God never pushes us to do things, okay? He never pushes us to do stuff. He will always only suggest things for us. He'll never want us to do things like push us into like making decisions. He wants us to make the decisions. So if an entity shows up and says, you should do this, you should not do that, because more than likely that is not the characteristic of the Lord, because the Lord wants you to live your life in love and in unity and in peace, right? So if an entity shows up and tells you you should do this, and if the thing he's telling you, whatever the entity tells you, if it's causing hurt to someone else, it's probably not the Lord. Like, even if it's like, you should, but like, let's say you're like, oh, should I get an abortion? And I had a dream, and then this angel said, you should get an abortion. Bro, you're murdering someone. That's not the Lord. Like, that is not of the Lord. That is an enemy. That is a demon pretending to be something of truth. God is never in the business of hurting people. He's never in the business of hating people. He's never in the business of like condemning others. He's only operates in love. God is the emotion of love in all circumstances. So if you don't recognize all the characteristics of the Lord, you can very easily be tricked by demons pretending to be angels or by entities pretending to be God that are not God. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it's important that we read the biblical narrative to get an understanding of God's character, so that way we can identify it. Like the angels have characters as well, and they'll never tell you their names. Angels will never ever tell you their name. If an entity shows up and says, my name is this, he is a demon right away. The angels won't give you their names. They never do in the Bible, and they never want credence because they give all praise to the Lord. So if an angel gives you his name, like, that's a weird situation, because that doesn't line with the character of God, because the angels are on God's side, and their authority is all praise to the Lord, because the demons that
where did they get like the names of the archangels from?
Bro, that's God released that information for specific situations, but the angels don't tell you their names. They won't. I've tried to talk to them. Trust me, they don't give you their name. I'm just telling you right now from experience, and a lot of people that dealt with it, they will always say, nope, I'm not going to give you my name. It's not, I am an angel of the Lord. I am of God. You don't need to know my name. You don't need to know who I am. You don't need to know anything about this. So like these are things you got to like recognize, that demons will almost always try to find a way to circumvent like praise. And like demons will show up and tell you, you need to love the earth and you need to love plants, and they'll act good, and they'll act like they're giving you information that is good. Okay. If the entity is giving you information, a lot of times it's a demon, because God doesn't want to give you information, because God wants you to choose. God will give you nudges. God will send angels to deliver nudges of emotional feelings that are like, hey, you should probably do this. You probably shouldn't do that. Hey, this is not a good decision. This is how you need to love people. God gives us like unctionings to love people. Demons give us direct information. In fact, the word demon comes from the root word daemon, which means to know. It means the ones that know. Demons mean knowledge. They give you information. So if you're getting information from something, chances are it is a demon. Does that make sense? Like no matter what. So like if you're channeling stuff, it's a demon. Like almost always, 99% of the time, if you channel something, you are talking to a demon, or a demon's talking through you, because they want to give you information. That's what their position is. It's to entice you from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, the Bible says my people perish because of lack of knowledge. It actually says that we're supposed to know, but we have to get that knowledge from the trusted source. Okay, we have to get that from the Lord, and the Holy Spirit that gives it to us, and we get that from meditating on God's word and operating in righteousness, and do not being pure. Like, bro, if you're doing things, Nikki, that you know you're not supposed to be doing, and you know that maybe this is probably a bad thing and I'm still doing it anyways, and you go to channel something, you ain't going to channel the Spirit of the Lord. You're going to channel a demon, because your righteousness is not in the right standpoint. Does that make sense? So like, bro, you're like, hey,
your energy is out of alignment.
Yeah, but even if you're just like, hey, like you have a conviction in your heart, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing this type of thing, and you're still doing that type of thing, and then you go to channel.
It's like if you get high, or you go to a fucking rave, and then you start channeling. Yeah,
exactly. Well, no, even things emotionally, like you're like, let's say you've been lying to somebody, and you didn't clear that lie up, and you've been keeping that lie, and then you go to channel, and you're going to channel a demon. That's all you're going to get. You're only going to get a demon. Like, you're not going to get the Spirit of the Lord. The Spirit of the Lord ain't going to talk to you, and angels aren't going to talk to you. If a demon shows up, it'll tell you it's an angel, because you'll be tricked. And so, like, the thing is, it is very hard to tell the difference between the Spirit of the Lord, like angels talking to you, or demons. But like, you got to know, there's ways to know, and the ways to know is if you walk in righteousness completely. Okay, if you walk in righteousness, if you recognize the character of God, reading the Bible is a really good way to recognize God's character, okay, and recognize angels' character. So you should read the Bible to get a better understanding, okay? And because otherwise, and just don't practice the kind of channeling thing, because until you know that you're in a total state of righteousness, like, you know, you're going to channel something evil, bro, like more than likely, and it will pretend to be good because it wants to trick you. Like, there is no aliens. We are the only center of the universe, bro. There's no aliens. The only spirits that are out there, the only thing, are interdimensional, other dimensional spirits, which are demons. That's all there really is. And so that's just, this is just what I've experienced, like studying and reading and dealing with it on a firsthand basis. Like, because I deal with these entities all the time. I've talked to Anubis. I've talked to many different demons. Trust me. And they said they were gods to the people until they started talking to me, and they're like, all right, yeah, I'm a demon. Like, but like, here's the deal. Like, this is what they do. And like, they pretend to be gods. And so like, I've dealt with so many of these entities. Like, there is, from my perspective, there is no other option. Like, they are all demons. There is no aliens. And this is like, so you got to walk in that righteousness, though. You got to pursue the Lord, and you got to pursue like being good and not operating in wickedness. You got to pursue walking in the truth, walking in love, always, never hurting people. And like, dude, you think you may not be hurting somebody, but you really are hurting people in a lot of ways that you don't realize when you're doing certain actions. And those actions can have an effect on what you're channeling or what you're bringing forth in your spirit or in your heart. You know, like the message of the Lord can affect your perspective, even if you're doing things that you think are not bad. So I don't know. Anyways, rant over. Sorry, it's a lot to think about.
No, great perspective. I mean, how I found Bryan's. I just binge watched his TikTok videos one day. I was like, whoa! I was like, all this stuff, and he's got this documentary called Angels and Demons. Is that on Prime, I believe?
Yeah, Ancient Angels. It'll be on Prime here very shortly, actually. And so, but right now it's on. If you go to ancientangels.com, you can watch that, and I talk about these entities and stuff.
Nice.
That's very interesting stuff. Like, I appreciate that. Yeah. So we should probably wrap this. We probably did a long time. I don't know.
Yeah. I gotta go. I got some people waiting for me too. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Bryan, and I appreciate both of you guys like jumping on here. Obviously.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you want to throw up
No problem.
before we get out of here and stuff? We'll do that. Do you want to, Bryan?
Yeah, absolutely. You want me to pray? You said.
No, well, I mean, I didn't, but now I do. But, I didn't say that, but I wanted that. But yeah, if you want to, well, let's do promo, and then you can pray us out of this if you want to.
Oh, okay, promo. Yeah. Well, yeah. Demon Erasers, 5-year headline. Demon Erasers on everything: Instagram, YouTube, Ancient Angels. It's all Demon Erasers and Ancient Angels on everything. And yeah, that's.
And then Nikki, if you have anything you want to throw on here, and I'll promote some stuff up, and then we'll go into prayer if you want.
Yeah, Nikki Knightley. My spiritual page is Divine Venus Vixen, and that's pretty much it.
Cool. Awesome. I basically I wrapped on the editing of the long form of the Rockville festival we covered. I'm gonna pitch it to Amazon Prime here shortly. That may. I mean, I don't want to jinx myself or whatever, but I'm gonna pitch it there, and we're gonna put it in. And Rumble's gonna back it also, and Rumble's back on this episode. Wow. We're already at 8,000 views, and we've only been live for an hour and 40 minutes. So shout out to Rumble.
Nice.
Put us on the front page. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys and not banning me and let me say certain words I can't say anywhere else and featuring me. I appreciate you guys backing free speech there at Rumble, and I advise everyone who's not watched us on Rumble to get a Rumble account. That's why our numbers are draining on everything else, because we're focusing on where the free speech is at. That's about all I got to promote. We'll have the Rockville footage out soon. We're gonna bombard you with reels on Instagram and stuff first. We already put the Kill Switch Engage one out, and then we'll bombard you with other stuff that'll be out soon. And yeah, Bryan, if you want to pray, I'm down with that.
Yeah. All right, Lord God, I just thank you for this time together, Father. I just thank you for everybody here watching, Lord God, and I thank you for Anthony. I thank you for Nikki, Lord God. I thank you for their hearts, Lord, that they want to see you and know you and serve you, Lord. They're seeking, and that they, Lord, I just pray that you reveal yourself even more powerfully in their life, God. Like, make yourself even more prominent in both their lives, Lord, and reveal yourself in the love and the truth that you walk in, Lord, in the way that we are supposed to be as Christians, Lord. Bring that up in that knowledge and that understanding for everybody that is here as well, Lord. I hope that everybody here right now, I just pray for everyone watching, Father. I pray in the name of Jesus that truth and love and peace and all the good stuff that you have for us begins to be visible in these people's lives, Lord, as they seek you, Father. If they would seek you and seek your truth, Lord, I pray that you bless them in ways that they can't even imagine, ways that they didn't even expect, Lord. I pray that there's like miracles happen from the people watching, Lord God, as they begin to seek you, Lord, and seek your face and your truth, and they read your word, Lord, and they turn to you, Father, in your heart and their heart, and that they learn to love one another and they forgive everybody, Lord. I pray right now in the name of Jesus that spirit of forgiveness is moved through everybody's hearts and love. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
I appreciate that a lot, Brian. I'm glad you said that. And everybody watching, like, thank you very much for spending your Tuesday night doing this. This would just be like a Zoom call, without you all. So, I mean, it's the only difference between delusion and reality is the results. So I appreciate you all. And Silver Thinker's Endgame. I died twice in one night. Jesus told me the end. The Bible is written from end to beginning. That's interesting.
That's awesome.
Sorry about your death, brother, but I'm glad you're still with us. And I don't know if you're a guy or girl, but I hope that I'm glad you're with us still. And thank you all. And and I'm sure Bryan will be on the show 20,000 more times. One of my favorite guys. Nikki's the best co-host in the game. Without her, this show probably wouldn't be here still, to be honest with you. So I appreciate it. And without my mom naming the show, it wouldn't be a show. So shout out Brenda Rogers. I'll see you all. And thank you all for being here. God bless each and every one of you. I hope all your dreams come true. And I'll see you next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Later.
Bye.